Someone has put together this video of Marco Rubio answering a question.
Okay, wait, that's funny.
That's kind of funny, right?
That's a good premise.
Yeah. So they're asking, like, are we doing a deal with Hamas just to get Americans out without worrying about Israelis?
Priority always, as the U.S. government is always.
So they write on the screen that he's realizing at that moment that he's about to say our priority with the U.S. government is for U.S. citizens. But you can't say that. Like, we are so beholden to Israel that you won't hear a U.S. official in the Trump administration or the Biden administration say that we care more for American citizens than Israeli citizens. They're not even allowed to say that, which with any other country they would.
Exactly. They say that all the time with other countries. It's a given with other countries.
Yeah. So, and it says on the screen, like, he backtracks because he's a puppet.
We care about all the hostages. We want all the hostages released. We believe they should all be released.
And then this is something I like to remind people of, but very few other people do, that when he says hostages, there's 10,000 Palestinian hostage being held. And of course, he's not referring to those, because when apparently anyone in U.S. media, anyone on the right, anyone on the left, well, not left, sorry, liberal Democrats, anyone says the word hostages, that means Israeli hostages. Palestinians do not count as human beings, as hostages, as anything. So he shows the number.
Okay, and that, by the way, we talk about hostages, we're also talking about bodies. Okay, and these trades are being made, and they're ridiculous trades. We're talking about 400 people for 3. These are nuts.
So
I like the Photoshop work. But yeah,
I know. So he's claiming that it's insane for Israel to make a deal where they release 400 Palestinians for 3. You know, what a terrible deal. He's saying it's nuts. It's nuts that Israel has, they're saying on the screen, that 400 Palestinian hostages, including children, to release for 3 IDF soldiers. So one of the sides of this is actively participating in a genocide soldiers. The other side of this is 400 women and children that are being held in prison. Like, there's a difference between those two things.
And on top of that, you see the condition these people are being released in. Think about what we're talking about here.
And so then, of course, they show the condition of the Palestinian hostages, who are generally, not 100% of the time, but generally in far worse condition than Israeli hostages. Then they also show the Israeli hostages, which many of them do not. They certainly don't look like they've been tortured.
I mean, we're sitting around as the world sort of accepting that it's normal and okay for you to go into a place, kidnap babies, kidnap teenagers, kidnap people that have nothing to do with any wars, that are not soldiers, that are not anything.
Yeah, and then they're showing all of the children captured by Israel. Israeli soldiers kidnap an infant, children. And by the way, a lot of this went on well before October 7th. I mean, Israel had 5,000 Palestinians in prison prior to October 7th. Most of them without charges, or if they were charged with anything, it was, looking at an IDF soldier wrong. And, then they're showing on the screen the articles of Palestinian children, how horribly they're treated while detained. Israeli Knesset passes a law allowing imprisonment of Palestinian children under 14. Israel Knesset also debated as to whether it was okay for Israeli soldiers and Israeli security to R-word prisoners, and they came to the conclusion that yes, it's fine. Terrorizing a generation, Israel arresting Palestinian children suspect to starvation and beatings. These are all being posted on the screen.
All Palestinians go through military courts in Israel that have a 99% conviction rate.
I think I'm gonna check you on that. I think it's like 99.6. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Don't forget the 0.6.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost 100% because, and I showed a BBC clip once on this show of a very rare moment. Maybe it wasn't BBC, but it was a British journalist. Very rare moment where an outside journalist was allowed into one of these courts. And he said afterwards, I got to see some of it. Almost none of them got longer than 60 seconds in front of the judges. So even if you had a good case, do you think you could present it in 60 seconds where this judge who basically just says convicted, like, is going to change their mind? I don't think so. So yeah, they can.
And on the flip side, I don't know if you saw this story, Lee, but I think it was Times of Israel article where a few days ago there was a man, Israeli in Jerusalem, I believe, who was a part of a mob chanting death to Arabs. So kind of some subtle messaging there. And they were surrounding an Arab worker, and this man shot him in the street, and he was put in jail, but an Israeli judge intervened and released him and was like, no, just put him in house arrest, and didn't give any sort of a reasoning. Didn't even try to like come up with an argument of like, oh no, he accidentally pulled the trigger and accidentally said death to Arabs. Just let him go.
Right.
So that's what we're seeing on the other side of the legal system in Israel.
And taking them and putting them in tunnels for almost a year and a half.
So now they're showing articles of Palestinians who have been imprisoned for years, locked up, a 22-year-old. So, all this was going on prior to October 7th. This is kind of standard operating procedure for Israel.
Like, if this is a normal exchange, this is a normal thing that happens. This is an outrage. So they should all be released. So I'm not going to comment on what we're going to accept or not accept, other than all of us. The whole world should continue to say that what Hamas has done is outrageous.
But for those of you listening to the podcast, there's a middle finger emoji on the screen. What Hamas done is outrageous, but what Israel has done is, just totally rational and fine. I mean, even on October 7th, killing hundreds upon hundreds of their own citizens, totally rational, not radical, not radicalized at all. Totally makes sense.
And I love how he didn't even answer the question at all. He just kind of like stuttered for a few seconds, and then was just like, well, Hamas is that. I'm going to use that in my day. Like next time my girlfriend Kelly asks me if I farted, I'm going to be like, look, Hamas, what they're doing out there, that's what we really should be focusing on right now. Who farted, who didn't fart, any one of us could have farted. But
what I'm hearing from you is you don't care what Hamas has done. And so you could say this to Kelly, you don't care what Hamas has done. And so therefore you're trying to change the subject to farting. Like, I think we need to stick to the subject here.
Yeah. You think the smell is outrageous? I'll tell you what's outrageous. Hamas is outrageous.